Hey fellow collectors, today we have another day for the Dydo. But before that, I want to talk about this. On February 4th I reviewed this car a little bit. It's a Honda S600 and it's a great model made by Konami, but it's a convertible and the top is in the up position, so it seems a little bit odd. But Dydo has the same car with the separate convertible top, and it looks like you could either have the top up or down, so I thought I'd give it a try and compare the two brands. If you're not familiar, here's the rest of the collection if you want to pause the video. And then on the back there should be some photos. Yes, some photos of the car, pretty nice. And some nice basic stats so you can learn about the thing. So it weighs around 700 kilos, which is pretty light. 2 passengers, I guess. Front rear wheel drive, front engine, rear wheel drive. It's a 606cc engine. It makes 57 horsepower. And runs on 13-inch wheels and goes 145 kilometers an hour, which I think is somewhere in the 90 mile per hour range. I could be wrong there. So let's take a look here. If I can assemble this quickly, you guys are going to watch that. If I can't assemble this quickly, I'm going to edit the video and come back. So I know what one wheel already rolled off the table. Yeah, tire can be a separate piece here. Okay, so I'm debating if I want to get one of each model from this series because I already have some from different brands, and I'd rather just spend my money on other completely different cars. But if I can get them at a good price, maybe I will get the other ones and do more of these brand comparisons, so you guys will know which to pick if you don't want to have multiples. Okay, so this actually wasn't too hard to put together. We'll mess with the convertible tops after. I've got these chamfered screws here. And then let's get the screwdriver. Nope. It seems like these Dydos have two different Phillips head sizes. So on this one, it's the number 1 Phillips head, the larger one. That seems to have better purchase on the head. If you use the wrong size screwdriver, you're going to be susceptible to stripping out the head, and that's not a good thing. Alright, so let's get into the review then. It does have instructions if you can't figure it out. Okay, so now, this was made by Kyosho, I believe, so it's unfortunately a red color, and almost all Kyosho red cars have paint bubbling. This model would have come from the early 2000s here, so yeah, you can see it says here 2003, 2004. So it's old casting, and that's why we see this paint rash there, sadly. But pretending that didn't occur, it's nice to see that we have white wall tires. The hubcaps are okay, they're not as good as the Konami. We do have chrome, it's silver paint, but it's a chrome door handle on the real car. And what's good about this brand is they have these chrome plastic bumpers as separate pieces. It's not cast into the molding. It's not painted silver like Shuko does that. Okay, so here on the side there's printing. I would assume that might say Honda. Let's see if it's legible. Yeah, there you go, Honda. Alright, and you get some detail. Oh, there is actually a molded in H in the hubcap. I would have never noticed that if I didn't zoom in. You gotta remember, look at the size of my thumb. These are small models. It's really hard to see these details with the naked eye sometimes. Okay, well anyways, we got the crazy psychedelic Dydo headlights. This looks like a praying mantis, right about to eat you. It's crazy. Alright, we got the orange painted turn signals there. Alright, and the grille is nicely molded. Really fine details there. I only wish there was like a little black paint wash. So maybe some of that Tamiya black paint wash would help that out, but I don't know, I'm kind of lazy, I'll leave it alone. Okay, so on the top here, what do we have? Looks like a H logo, right? Yep, alright, so the Honda logo. The panel lines are pretty crisp. They're not filled in with a bunch of extra paint, so good job there. Some rib details, there are physical ribs there, and it's recessed. You got the silver painting around the window, so that's pretty good. And then I guess we'll look into the interior a little bit. So typical Kyosho kind of stuff. It's just decent molded details, but it's all black, so it's hard to see those details. Okay, so on the back we got some silver painted hinges for the roof, or I mean for the trunk lid. And then again, some printing there. Let's see if I can zoom in and focus on that. Come on, camera. Honda S600, so that is legible. Alright, so that's great. I'm assuming this silver thing on the left might be either a fuel filler cap or possibly an antenna base. I'm not sure. But look at this paint rash. Ugh, Kyosho or Dydo. Not good. What isn't good though is you got this silver paint going along the whole top of the shoulder line here. And so that is a piece of chrome on the real car. So simulated pretty nicely. Now the back end though, this is not so great. It's nice to have a fake license plate and this silver painted, I assume that's a handle to lift up the trunk. But what happened here? You know, that doesn't look good. I think the real one might have a chrome ring and then a red tail light there. But this is just plain red all around, so pretty weak. Nice to see 2 exhaust tips. I don't think that's normal. I don't know. I don't know if the real car has that. That's a bit of a surprise. I mean, it's a 600 cylinder, but then again, motorcycles have 2 exhaust pipes, and maybe this is the motorcycle engine. They just copied that over. It is crooked as well, but maybe I didn't screw that bottom screw in tight enough. I don't know. Okay, well, let's get to the convertible pieces here. So in the top down position, I guess I'd pop this in here. Let's see if I can do this here. Oh, that was actually easy enough. Yeah, that looks pretty great actually. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. On the real car, this black piece should actually come up more. So this is a bit more flush and more of a clean look to it. But it fits nicely. It's pretty easy to get in there. Okay, and apparently it wants to stay in there. So, well, the beauty of a dental pick is it's supposed to pick things out. So, will it work here? Oh, that went on the floor as well. Okay, so top up version. Just as easy to pop in, and looks pretty nice as well. Okay, right, so from this side view it's a pretty goofy looking car. So, but I guess it's time to compare it now to the Konami. So actually, you'll notice here where Konami did a much better job is the taillights. Now Konami doesn't have plastic inserts, but it's a chromed piece of plastic and then they painted red over it. And these plain license plates are pretty silly, I think, because I've never seen a car with just a blank white license plate. So Dydo's got the advantage there. And I guess it does have 2 twin pipes, because this one does, and it actually went to the extent of painting them silver. And they're small diameter, which I think is more realistic. I don't think you'd have these giant pipes coming out of a 600cc engine. So you'll see the Dydo is a much wide. I don't know, is it wider or not? It's kind of that's hard to say. But the roof on the Dydo is much taller. It might be more accurate, I'm not sure. Okay, so in fact, let me get the good old tray of comparison so it can hold these things a little more evenly and level. Okay, so the height. So yeah, the Dydo is a much taller roof. The body seems relatively the same height. The bumper's close enough. Interesting. Okay, let's go to the front. Okay, so you can definitely see the psychedelic headlights of the Dydo versus just a regular clear plastic on the Konami. Alright, the Konami does have suspension, so that's a nice touch. Okay, the grills are kind of different. The grill on the Konami is much squatter. It's not as tall as the Dydo. And then the orange lights as well are much bigger on the Dydo. Although I'm not sure which is more accurate, to be honest with you, when I look at the photos of the real car. But I will notice this chrome surround on these headlights is more accurate to the photo I'm looking at. It kind of droops on the real car, whereas this is just round almost, like the headlight. Okay. So top, we got different vents. The size of the logo, I would assume the Konami logo is more accurate, you know, being a smaller logo. So I don't know which of these would be more accurate though. Okay, so then the window, yeah, the windshield is simply shorter on the Konami. But, it's almost like the real car when I look at photos. It's in between these two. It's not this tall, but it's not that low. You will also notice the Konami has some molded in wiper blades, although they're not painted, they're just clear. But this has absolutely nothing, so that's not as realistic. Okay, alright. Oh, the wheels, that's another thing. So Konami did a better job, I think. Even though they don't have a molded in H, which is probably more realistic. You know what, I might be wrong. But Konami printed a red H here onto this hubcap. Alright, but let me put these on the spinny thing, and then you can look at a photo of the real car. So looking at this, the real car doesn't have any printing in the center of the hubcap. So, but it probably has an embossed H logo. So the reality is, I think the Dydo might be more realistic as far as the wheels go. Interesting. Okay, but I was talking about the droopy headlight part right there, so I think the Dydo might be more accurate there, whereas the Konami not so much. So really, actually, I think I'm going to give the win to Dydo on this, because A, the roof can be removed like a convertible. I'm not going to display it like this. I'm going to display it with the convertible part, right? That's what it is, so... yeah, sorry, this fell on the floor. So let's do this. For me, if I'm gonna have a model of a convertible car, I want it to be in a convertible position, right? Alright, so a little bit more. You might be asking yourself, is this a really small car? Yes, it is a small car, but it's not a K car. Honda made a K car in the same decade called the N360, and that's this thing. So it's a much smaller car dimensionally, and it only has a 360cc engine. It's a special class of car in Japan for tax reasons and the fact that the roads are narrow there. So now you might ask yourself, what is this car like in the real world that we live in today? Well, here I don't actually have any modern Hondas, not yet at least. I just have other cars I want to pick up. So here's a Subaru Impreza, which I think exists in most countries, and you can get an idea. You know, since that's a similar size to a Honda Civic, I imagine. Okay, so yeah, K car. Well, this isn't a K car, but it's pretty darn close. It's pretty small. I mean, I would not want to be getting into an accident in this car. But if you're, I guess if I lived on an island and had my own island, like Fantasy Island, I'd drive this around if there's no other traffic to worry about. Alright, okay, well, it spun around, and I think it spun around enough times with the photo. And I guess you can decide for yourself if you want to have one of these things. I'm not sure if TLV makes an S600. Oh, they make a coupe version. So I probably will have to add that coupe version to the list of my cars to purchase if I can pick one up for a decent price. And then someday in the future I'll have compare all three of these S600s. Okay guys, well I think it's spun around long enough, and I guess I'll leave you with a new Japanese phrase I learned. In English it's see you later, but in Japanese it's ja mata ne.